Blessings, beloveds. Welcome. I'm going to just for a moment stop the share so I can be with you without the screen interference, face to face. Hello, all you beautiful beings. Thank you for being here. I'm going to turn the music off now. I don't know if you could hear that. I didn't arrange it for Zoom to hear the music. Sometimes you have to do a special link. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to today's call. I'm super excited to be here with you all. See you guys logging in. It's great to have you here. Let me know where you're logging in from and that you can hear me. Can you in the chat? Sue from Texas. Hello, ha. Can you guys say hello in the chat and just confirm? Awesome. Hi, Simrat. Awesome. Sounds good. Okay. Hi, Angeli. Hi, Joy from Toronto, from Florida. That's where I'm at right now. From Missouri, Karen in North Carolina, Patty in Missouri. I know a lot of your names. Patricia in Oregon. Hello. Nancy in Long Island. Hi. And Rebecca in the UK. Sandra from Lakeland. Montreal. Daniel. Hello. Tara from Los Angeles. Corey from Washington. We've got Emmanuel from France. That's so awesome. So many of you. And Helen from Idaho. Okay, it's so great to see you all. Joseph from Belgium. People all over the world. That makes me really happy. And more coming in. Lisa from Colorado. Hey, Sue, I hope I said your name right, from Korea. Carolyn from Brooklyn. Carrie from Denver. And we've got someone from Wilmington, Delaware. Michael, you guys, welcome. Welcome. I'm so glad. More still saying Kat from UK, from Devon, UK. Oh, wow. So I'm so grateful and so glad to be here with all of you. This is what I love to do. Pardon the little bit of disarray in the back. I've just moved and relocated for the next year. Only for a year, then I'll be relocating again. Let's take a big clearing breath. I just want to say thank you so much and get us set up for success. I have a lot to cover today. It is content rich. You will really benefit. This is very progressive information and intel I'm going to share here, and high consciousness stuff that has taken me perhaps lifetimes to learn. And I'm really excited and glad to be sharing it with all of you. The call is being recorded. Usually, when I do a high content rich call, I don't actually release it publicly. I end up putting it into the sacred membership, not typically for free replay, because this is really gifted to my community because you're on the list, but it's real content rich stuff here. So may or may not make it available publicly. I'm not sure yet. But stay with me. Let's take a deep clearing breath. Just like whatever's been going on in your day and any kind of clearing breath, like just exhale it out. If you want to ohm it out or it just really does help to just release, relax, let go, right? Just to do that and just drop down into your heart. I'm going to start sharing my screen now. And as I'm doing that, I really want to acknowledge and just recognize all of you. We now have almost 100, well, sorry, 50 people, over 50 people on the live call. There were close to 300 people who registered. I only gave it 1 week notice. So glad and grateful to have you all here. And I just want to acknowledge you all, really acknowledge you all, because I know that so many of you are. I looked at the list of registrants. I know many of you are out there in the world doing amazing work and helping so many people. And my audience is highly ambitious women of impact. And it doesn't mean the men aren't welcome, men here making impact and doing great and wonderful things, but that is who I work with, highly ambitious women of impact who are here to make real magnificent contribution in the world, whether it's with your immediate group or whether it's on the global stage, however and wherever you're making impact in the world, whether it's with your family, with your own self, with your own personal transformation. You are a highly impactful, woman, man, gender doesn't isn't the issue. here to make massive transformational contribution in your life, in your world, and become best version of you. So thank you for being here. I recognize you and acknowledge you. Okay, let me share my screen so we can get started. I have a presentation prepared for you. As I said, I think it's really content rich and highly progressive. This is all about your transformation, planetary liberation, bifurcation, ascension, and oversoul embodiment. What does that really mean? How to become the frequency match. Come into energetic union and become the frequency match for all that you want most. Really, it is all about frequency. We're shifting out of an old paradigm that was all about the brain. The new paradigm is about energy and consciousness. Let's get into this. During this gifted webinar, we'll be discussing how you can align with your soul's true divine mission and purpose for true freedom and sovereignty. Many of you are there doing that now. How you can embody your higher self aspects. Many of you are doing that now. How you can elevate your vibration, your vibrational frequency. I'll explain all of this, how you can expand your consciousness. We're all doing that. We're working on that. How you can shift your mindset for success, how you can clear, heal, neutralize, and resolve emotional upsets, how you can regulate your nervous system, how you can liberate yourself from the old paradigm. This is a lot to cover. How you can awaken your unlimited dormant potential, unlock your extrasensory abilities, including intuition, telepathy, and your energy IQ. I'm going to explain all this, stick with me, and how you can activate your supernatural powers, access your greatest gifts, talents, and abilities, manifest like a real master, and reclaim your power and potency so that you can align with your best life path. And yeah, make the impact you came here to make as a highly impactful woman and or man. As a side note, I know that some of what I'm going to share may trigger some people. Some of what I'm sharing, because it's definitely very progressive. So please just open your heart and your mind so that you can receive the information as an energetic exchange, which truly is designed to support you and assist you in your up-leveling process. And sometimes the up-leveling process involves little triggers to make you expand into more and greater, right? So you'll get a lot out of this. I'm here to help you to reclaim your power and to develop more of your divine discernment, to embody more truth, to reclaim your light and more of the pure energy frequencies of source consciousness. So stay with me, okay? I'm not here to upset you, but I may say some things that can be potentially upsetting. Okay, so here's why this is important. As we likely all of you know, humanity is going through a massive upgrade in human potential and even more massive up-leveling as an evolutionary leap, right? This evolutionary leap is requiring intense, accelerated change and transformation on every level of our beings. That includes physically, emotionally, mentally, which includes the way we think, believe, what we perceive, our attitudes, which is kind of like a combination where emotions and brain mental overlap. Our spirituality is requiring to be upgraded and changed, transformed. We're having to shift into energetically conscious beings. So, this is why this is important. And this evolutionary jump is underway. This evolutionary jump is sometimes often referred to ascension or the shift of consciousness, a new paradigm leap. It is real. It is a scientifically explained phenomena happening planet-wide. And we are now starting to see it. 10 years ago, people were making fun of me for this stuff. I've been made fun of for some of the stuff I was teaching. But if you track back, you can see you know, it's happening, right? So this is not woo-woo. It is happening geographically. We can see it. Did anyone hear about what just recently happened in Italy? You can cite a million places now, not a million, but all over the world, geographically, politically, we can see it. Socially, culturally, societally, we can see it in religious organizations. Spiritual is changing. The love and light movement is having to upgrade and up level too. financially, economically, technologically. Don't even get me started on the AI agenda. That's a whole other conversation. And then planetarily and galactically, we're hearing and realizing more and more star family races, right? It's happening. This is real. This is not woo woo. And these implications are affecting us in our food and beverage systems, our healthcare systems, including medical and pharmaceutical institutions. It's happening and affecting us in our educational systems. This includes mainstream, independent, from pre-education system all the way up to the higher educational systems across the board, happening across all of our mass media and entertainment, including every form of news, which I like to call propaganda. Please make no mistake. If it's on your mainstream, it is propaganda. I apologize if that upsets somebody, but it is not based in truth. All organizations, including social media, governments, and world leadership, we can see it. Religious institutions, and spirituality, not necessarily the same thing. And banking institutions, including all of the global banking cartels. Yes, they all work together. So, as this shift unfolds, people need support and guidance and assistance. And I know many of you are on the front lines of this. And we are here, to make this kind of change and to adapt ourselves, right? As these unpredictable and dramatic changes are happening, they're creating incredible instability. We see it, we're seeing it everywhere. And here's the problem: humans are not prepared. These aren't just world problems, they're hitting us on the personal microcosm levels too. In fact, more than 85% of humanity has zero idea that this stuff is going on. They really don't get it. They see the chaos, but they don't understand there's a paradigm shift. They see the collapsing systems and the craziness and the insanity, and they don't understand that there's something better being born. They're stuck in the fear, the worry, the doubt, the ways they've been operating. They do not know how to operate in this new paradigm. And even those who do have some idea, which includes all of you, all of us, we're part of the 15%. We're still experiencing high degrees of the following. These are the problems that we're here to resolve: physical health issues and instability, extreme and excessive health challenges, often times usually undiagnosable or misdiagnosed by Western medicine, which is a pill mill. I apologize, but it is, for the most part, a pill mill. It is not a fix-it mill. It is a serve them up some pillows on a platter. Hormonal imbalances, seemingly unresolvable issues like weight loss, nervous system dysregulation, sleep disorders. These are all issues related to the physical that is having to adapt, right? Especially women, high women of impact, because we are holding, not only are we holding and embodying more of the divine feminine that's here trying to be birthed, right? But because Western medicine was designed by men for men, it's really not serving our needs. And I'm not just speaking to women, but primarily, right? These issues are not normal and they can be solved and resolved, but our societal systems are not addressing them properly. We're also dealing with emotional instabilities. And that does not mean there's anything wrong with us. It means we are having to shift and change, right? There's nothing wrong. We're not doing anything wrong. We're having to up level, right? But emotional dysregulation, emotional instabilities, emotional upsets, triggers, we're all carrying some degree of worries, anxieties, unease, concern, pressures related to the external world. And again, nervous system dysregulation. We have degrees of frustration and irritability and annoyance that we're working through, hostility, aggression, anger. This stuff cannot be suppressed. And you'll see in the coming year, especially as a year of the fire horse and all the planets start to shift into Aries, you're going to see a lot more of this outwardly expressed, unfortunately. This is all nervous system dysregulation. People are feeling hopeless and powerless and feeling like things might never change, or a lot of people have the perspective that things are getting worse. And after all, especially with us in this group, we've tried everything. We feel like we've been trying everything. We feel like we've been doing so much of that, and it's like an emotional torture in the pit of our stomachs sometimes that says, is this all there is? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can relate to this in the chat? Like the suppression of healthy expression of emotions, not knowing how to communicate effectively. This is going to become a major theme. Yeah, I see some thumbs up on the side there, right? And the unconscious programming that is operating, that is keeping people stuck, blocked, stifled, perhaps even worse, feeling like overstimulated for those of you like me who are highly sensitive beings and we get labeled as hypersensitive, but really we're just awakening to the higher truths, right? So all of that falls under like emotional instability, not knowing how to express the emotions in a proper, healthy way and or regulate them, right? We also have mental instabilities, and that does not, again, make anything wrong with us, but we're just aware, like monkey mind thinking and inaccurate or non-beneficial beliefs or belief systems, right? Belief systems like I can't do this, I'm not worthy of this, it's not possible for me, things like that, or I don't know how. Those are all inaccurate, non-beneficial beliefs. I could go on and on about that, points of view and perspectives that are not based in truth, that we're not even aware of, whether it's a truth or belief that somehow we're free in a world where we're really not free, or the soul is always free. The soul is always free. Truly, we are free. But in the human world, in the physical world, we have all kinds of inaccurate beliefs. If we have these beliefs that big pharma is there to help us, when it's really just a pill mill, or these kinds of things, these mis and disinformation beliefs, especially when you start getting involved in like conspiracy circles, there's lots of mis and disinformation. There are literally CIA operatives inside of those circles providing mis and disinformation to further confuse people. Um, you know, the overuse of the brain, trying to figure everything out when the brain is not designed for that. This is all creating mental instability. How do we cope? Information overload, the overuse of social media, technology. This creates lots of uncertainty and doubt, adds to the sleeplessness, a near incomplete ability, an inability by most people to really use divine discernment. In fact, I don't believe that most people, the vast majority of humans, even knows what divine discernment is or how to use it. And really, what divine discernment is the ability to know without any question fact from fiction, truth from lies. And divine discernment is not something that you can learn through the brain. It's not a tool of the brain. So this leads to all kinds of issues of not knowing what's real, and how even marketing, especially big pharma marketing, but all forms of even entrepreneurs are doing it, business marketing, the biggest names, they're doing it. They're using coercion, secrecy, manipulation to 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 coerce people, and the brain is not having divine discernment. Doesn't The brain doesn't have that tool. Other problems we're facing are relationship challenges, right? I don't want to get too lost in all the challenges, but we'll move on in a moment. But, personal, like our relationship to ourselves, how are we treating ourselves? Are we loving and honoring and appreciating ourselves and one another? Our intimate relationships, whether they're with spouses and partners, parents, siblings, children, friendships, colleagues, our relationship with our source, yeah, our family, our professional relationships, our societal relationships. There's so much division there, especially in, the extremism in religion. We see this cultural and religious division, political division, in media and entertainment, even in the entrepreneurial world. And many of you are entrepreneurs and many of you are solopreneurs. This society teaches us that fame makes you valuable. And if you don't have fame or numbers, you're not valuable, or what you're teaching is not valuable. This is all kinds of we're just out of alignment, right? And so this is creating great division, and it limits us from getting what we really need, right? There's just, we're trained through the media, through talking heads, right? through this divide and conquer mentality and this idea that one side, democracy, what's the other side of that is socialism or communism. Like it's all about divide and conquer. Men against women, Democrats against Republicans. It's women, I said women against men, gays against straights. It's just all divide and conquer. And all of this is creating so much separatism and extreme duality that is creating fragmented trauma within us. Of course, religion does the same thing. Jews against Catholics, or what, on and on and on. All this extremism is creating relationship challenges, right? And of course, financial worries and concerns, right? We're seeing it. It's crazy out there. This is what I want to make clear right here. If you don't already get this, all this poverty mindset, all this lack, limitation, fear, it's all due to separateness from our source. All poverty, all lack, all limitation, all fears and worries and doubts about any form of money or currency or wealth, including hoarding. And when I say hoarding, I also mean by the richest of the rich who hoard all of the rich. They stick gold under their, I don't know, where vaults. That is a form of spiritual warfare. I realize that could be triggering for some people to hear that, but when you free yourself from the spiritual warfare, that stuff can go away. Can, and it is possible for that to go away. But no amount of mindset shifting is going to change that. No amount of mindset shifting can clear spiritual warfare regarding money, wealth, poverty, abundance versus lack, prosperity versus deprivation, fortune versus misfortune. That's deep spiritual work that needs to be worked. Energetic work. We're talking about that today. So overall, we're still in the problem, but I promise we'll get to more solution. Overall, people have been extremely disempowered in multiple areas of our lives, right? And may even feel hopeless. Many advanced beings, just like all of you, who know yourselves to be powerful, yet feel disempowered, who know yourselves to be generally positive, yet in so many ways feel discouraged or frustrated or even hopeless, who know yourself to be one of the new leaders of the world, the new thought leaders, new energy workers, energy healers, and yet you feel that you have somehow been blocked or thwarted or stifled. And you know that you have something magnificent and fabulous to offer in this world or to your family, your community, your neighborhood, the animals, earth, and yet you've barely begun to reach your greatest potential because of all this extremism, this separatism, the challenges, right? You know that there's something so much greater available to you, and yet somehow you feel that in spite of all your efforts, whatever that is, something is still missing or hasn't shown up. Yeah? This is making sense. Can you give me a thumbs up in the chat if it's making sense to you? Is this resonating, landing? Yeah? You see some thumbs up coming up. Yeah. Okay, and here's the truth. The old ways of operating that we learned from the old 3D paradigm, including most of the teachers out there, I'm talking about who I would call preceders. They're the preceders. They're very important, very valuable for us on our journey. But what they're teaching is no longer accurate. It's not, it got us to where we are, but it won't get us to where we're meant to go. Got us to where we are, won't get us where we're meant to go. So, but what we are being faced with, and here's where we start to get to the good news, right? We are being faced with an opportunity to progress. Yes, we really, really are. We're being given the opportunity in the current human trajectory that requires us to progress. And without the progress, we are left feeling stagnant, blocked, struggling, stuck in overwhelm, discontent about these, we're comfortable in our comfort zones that are not so comfortable, right? We feel like we're on the hamster wheel of sameness, the lack, the limitation, all the stuff we're talking about. Isolationism, if you're a highly sensitive being, lots of doubt, fear, and uncertainty, right? So I want you to just take a quick look in your life now, where you are now, where you were a year ago. Just be honest with yourself and where you want to be a year from now. because this year is your opportunity to progress, really. I'm going to get into this. This is your opportunity, but you got to take a look at a real hard, honest look within yourself. Okay, so it is time for us to reclaim our power. That is a big part of what this webinar is about, reclaiming our power. It is so important to understand what it means to claim your real, true, authentic, sovereign, personal, spiritual, physical, emotional, mental, energetic, financial, and even beyond the physical into the higher realms power, right? That means working with your divine team, your higher self aspects. We're going to get into this. So I know I mentioned some of this, but I just let me know if it hits home. You're here for something more. You know that you want to make an impact, but maybe you're not making the impact you really want to make. And you feel a strong call to serve in a more significant way, because we are definitely shifting into a service to the greater good society. And you know you're nowhere close to fulfilling your greatest potential. You're likely concerned about the state of world affairs and, in particular, the suffering that people and animals and even Mother Earth are going through. And you're done feeling powerless, right? Done, done feeling powerless. And you're likely feeling, frustrated with that you've done a lot of the inner work and you're wondering, like, when are things going to finally change and get better? And you're looking to find a more authentic and enjoyable way to contribute to the greater good, whether it's your clients, your students, your friends, your family, the earth, however you're meant to. And you want to discover and reveal more of yourself and your divine potential, right? That includes your extrasensory abilities, your gifts and talents with the higher realms, your intuition, your guidance, your channeling abilities, your energy healing, your manifestation abilities, and maybe even also your animal communication and telepathy abilities. And all of this, right? We all want to live a more fulfilling and rewarding life, right? That's what this progress is about. More and deeper fulfillment for everyone. Okay, so I don't want to keep going over this, but if you've been feeling that stress and overwhelm, if you've been feeling like money and success is hard to have, maybe you don't feel like you have a lot of either of those things. Maybe you've been overworking, hustling, and grinding in the old slave driver paradigm. That is not the new paradigm, right? Grinding your way to success, feeling like maybe you're not good enough or not doing enough. I know I've had a lot of that myself. Maybe you're still in comparison, like how come it's available to them but not to me or someone else out there? They've got it, but I don't. That goes on, right? And maybe you worry you're not ready, or maybe you have imposter syndrome. Nobody will care what you have to say, or nobody will listen to you, right? Or maybe you're wondering if all the extra sensory abilities really are available to you, or if you can even really have your hopes, dreams, wishes, and desires, if it's even possible. I get it. Right. And you know it. If this lands for you, you know that the pain of not living your best life is the worst pain. The pain of knowing that you're meant for more and not feeling like you're there, it's the worst pain. Right. The pain of not succeeding when you know you're meant to succeed somehow, some way, it's horrible pain, right? Not feeling seen or heard, not feeling really valued or appreciated. Feeling like you're trying so hard and yet somehow you're still feeling that stifled, block, stuck energy, right? And maybe not being recognized for all the work that you've done, all the inner work, and feeling so disempowered, right? Okay, so here's why you should listen to me, because now we're about to start getting into the solutions, right? If you don't already know me, because sometimes with the free calls, people don't, I'm Lori Spagna. I don't know even if I formally introduced myself already, but I'm an intuitive, a multidimensional channel. I channel a group of beings called the Collective. I'm an animal communicator, an energy healer, a DNA activator, a transformational life coach, intuitive mentor, and guide. That's one of my favorite things to do, is just helping other high-powered, amazing, ambitious people to achieve their goals, dreams, desires. And I think that's one of my superpowers, is my ability to get to it right away, like get to the root of it. I am a best-selling author. I have I think it's seven now books on Amazon, including best-selling books. How Psychic Are You? Learn Animal Communication and Telepathy, Manifestation Made Easy, Animals in the Afterlife. I'm an internationally recognized, highly acclaimed expert, speaker, and author, and the founder of Sacred Visionary Mentorship, which is my pride and joy. I love my Sacred Mentorship group. And that's all about next level transformational, personal, spiritual evolution for high achieving women and heart centered leaders who want to make massive impact. And I've been doing this work for the past 20 plus years professionally. Thousands and thousands of humans and animals all over the world have really truly benefited from this work. And you will too. Stay with me here, right? It's really more than up leveling. I've been working with people, like I said, professionally, doing this work as a professional, light worker, intuitive energy worker, etc. It's more than mindset, though we do that. We definitely do that. It's more than just raising your vibration, though, yes, we do that. It's more than just healing core wounds and traumas, though, yes, we do that. It's more than just clearing blocks. Yes, we do that. It's more than developing your intuitive gifts, though, yes, we do that. I do that. I do that in my groups, right? It's more than awakening your animal communication and telepathy abilities, although that's really easy and fun. And developing all your channeling abilities, that is so easy and fun when you're clear. This is what we're talking about today. It's about reclaiming your power to do all these things and really becoming best, and most authentic version of self, right? This is what we're talking about. This is what I've been doing, right? So that you can make the significant impact that you came here to make. And I do say I serve the light, and most people don't really even know what that means to serve the light. But really, it's really true about serving what I would say the word God's will for us and our roles in God's plan, serving that source for the expansion of consciousness, right? All right, so this masterclass is for you. We've really already identified you. There's a little repetition in here, but if this is landing for you and this makes sense, this masterclass is for you. So if you're here to make a profound impact and reclaim your power and really step up and make the progress you're here to make, can I get an aha, an amen, a thumbs up if this is landing? Yeah? Yeah, you guys can use the chat, the webinar chat. Okay, thank you. Lots of hearts and thumbs up. So, yeah, if you're looking to gain more clarity about your role in God's plan, and you don't have to use the word God, you can use the word spirit, source, creator, the infinite, the all that is, the divine, love, consciousness, right? We have different ways of identifying that source. I like the word source, creator of all that is. If you want to develop and cultivate more of your extrasensory abilities, this is going to help you expand into more of that, wake into more of your greatest potential and make massive impact and be part of the solution on earth, right? You're my tribe if that's who you are. If you want to feel more empowered in your personal life and in your career, and if you desire to experience deeper, authentic connection with your team, your divine team, which is your higher self aspects and your own collective, right? We all have teams. We'll get into this and be more of the magnificent best version of you, right? That's what we're talking about and live your highest fulfillment and walk in accordance with your most benevolent best path. This webinar is for you. All right, if you're content playing small or thinking from your current state of mind, you can certainly stay. You'll still make a lot of progress here, but that's not what we're here for today. If you're just looking for a get rich quick theme or a quick pill to fix everything overnight, this webinar is not for you. If you want to keep playing in the old paradigm, probably not for you. If you're not ready to take some bold action, you want to stay the same in your comfort zone, it's probably not for you. I would think you're not really here if that's you. So I don't even need to talk to the people who aren't here. If you still believe you can learn this stuff through the brain and listening to podcasts, okay, well, you're going to learn a lot, but ultimately, that's not the solution here. That's old paradigm. And you do have to be 100% committed to yourself, right? To be here. So, all right, if you're like me, you may also resonate with some of this. I spent the last year recovering from a state of burnout and overwhelm, and I literally took the year off. And fortunately, because of the success that I've had doing this work, I was able to do that for a year, and I was so divinely supported. I want to just skip ahead a little bit here because I think I have talked about this. And I think if this stuff has been resonating, we probably have a lot in common, all of us here. Because you want to take that leap, live your best life, and align with your soul's true divine agenda. But if you've ever felt so stuck and you didn't know what to do or how, you hit rock bottom so low sometimes that maybe it felt like even God didn't care. I know how you feel, right? It's just like I spent 20 years prior to doing this work on the hamster wheel in corporate America, living a slave life. And I was miserable and depressed, smoking 2 packs a day, 6 beers a day, over coffee, like 2 pots of coffee a day, over sexing. There were car accidents. I had $100,000 in bad credit card debt. My hair was falling out. My thyroid was off. I was on the pill mill. I had so much big pharma being fed down my throat, the drugs. It was family drama. Couldn't speak to my family for 2 years. My husband divorced me. On and on. I've been there. Here's what's at the root of it for all of us. Doesn't matter what's going on in your life. Let's get to the root right now. Either you think you're not good enough, not important enough, not pretty enough, not special enough, not significant enough, not loved enough, not worthy enough, not good enough. I said that one, undeserving. You feel betrayed somehow. You got a bad life script. Anyone feel like that? You got a bad life script? Can't even trust in your own God? If you don't realize that's what's at the root of it, I can tell you that's what's at the root of it. But really, the big thing now with the new paradigm is not understanding how to work in partnership with higher consciousness, quantum reality. That is what really all this stuff is leading you to. So if you're ready to finally break free, take back your power, and live the life you are meant to, truly meant to, this quantum leap time is for you. It's for us, those of us who are ready to make the progress and live a life of freedom, real freedom, sovereignty, personal and spiritual power, authentic success, and divine abundance and prosperity. This is the masterclass. Okay. I want to tell you that at the start of the new year, I did a little inventory. I had my sacred mentorship group do this too on their own. And I want you to do an inventory, but I'll just read some of mine real quick about the inventory that I took from the last year, really quick, and then you're going to do yours. Okay. So I'm putting myself out here. In the last year alone, I took an entire year off, barely worked. My income did not drop. It sustained me and it allowed me to take the year off. I traveled cross country. I visited new places across the country, including 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 new states and many other states that I had already visited. So many adventures. I healed and recovered from burnout. I healed and recovered from people pleasing. I didn't even know I was a people pleaser. I didn't even understand the burnout because the burnout was the result of over delivering, over giving, and to not honoring my own natural boundaries that I didn't even know because I just wanted to make people happy and wanted to give, right? The joy of giving. I didn't even understand it, right? My podcast, The Awakened Elevated Human, hit 10,000 subscribers in the same, sorry, not 10,000 subscribers, 10,000 downloads in the same year, that I started the podcast. Sorry, I want to turn the phone off. In the same year that I started the podcast, 10,000 downloads. My YouTube channel hit 10,000 subscribers, which is by some people's standards not that high, but like that was pretty cool, right? I migrated my website onto a new tech platform that was so many years of work. I migrated my old platform onto a new platform. That was so much work. That was one of the most painful things I had to do. I'm not a techie. I was on 3 major mega big podcasts. I mended my relationship with my sister that was non-existent for the last 20 years, completely mended it. We're like besties now. It's amazing. I bought a new car. Actually, I didn't even buy it. It was gifted to me, handed to me because the universe takes care of those who serve, right? I moved. to upstate New York. I found the most adorable home in the Catskills area, upstate New York. I reclaimed my authority from some of the old mentors that I was working with that weren't helping me any longer. It was really hard to break free from that. Did massive mindset shifting, massive energy shifting, became a better healer, intuitive guide, and coach myself. Okay, I can go on. I'm going to stop there because you don't need to hear all this. I'm not bragging. I'm here to help you see what's possible for you. I want you to know it's possible for you because if it was possible for me, it's possible for you. Now, we're going to do a quick inventory for you. So please get out a piece of paper. And we haven't even gotten into the content yet. I'm already, but I want to give you this exercise so you can become more of who you're meant to be and make some of that great progress you're meant to make. So take out a piece of paper if you can, or on your computer if it works for you, or your phone. And I want you to start making a quick list of your accomplishments and achievements over the past year. If you think that you don't have any, do a little prayer in your heart. Let it come to you, right? What did you say you would achieve that you actually did? What major accomplishments did you accomplish? Now, if you want to do that after the webinar, of course, because I want you to be here with me, that's fine. But I invite you to do that so you can start to reflect. Because one of the things is, as we recognize honestly what we have done, more opens up. And if we don't recognize and acknowledge ourselves, it's not going to be recognized or acknowledged anywhere. Now, if you feel like you didn't really accomplish that much, that's okay, right? This year, which we're moving into, year of the horse, it's a 1 year. It's all about new beginnings and fresh starts. It is about developing divine discernment. But let's do a quick inventory just so we can at least rank. You can rank yourself where you're at. And this is not about good or bad or right or wrong. It's your personal best, your personal best, because you're a person of impact who wants to make a difference, who wants to be the best version of you, right? Or else you wouldn't be here. So let's do a quick ranking for yourself, physical health and well being on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being best, 1 being least, right? It's only your personal best. Nobody else has to see it. Where would you put yourself? Just take a few moments. Just tune in. How are you taking care of your physical health and well being, your physical body? How do you feel you're doing in that area for yourself? Emotional health and well being. How do you feel about yourself? How do you overall feel about your own emotions? Do you generally feel grateful, blessed, overall fulfilled, happy? Or are you, joyful, peaceful, right? That there's grace? Or are you feeling more like stressed, overwhelmed, anxiety? 1 is lowest, 10 is highest. It's just an opportunity for you to see where you need to grow and progress in the year ahead. If we don't do a personal inventory, we really can't make the change. So take a few moments. Mental health and well being. Where are you there? 1 being lowest, 10 being highest. What are your thoughts, your beliefs, your belief systems? You don't even know what they all are most of the time. Most of us don't. But are you thinking things positively? Are you thinking and believing that things are working for you? Are you thinking and believing positive things about others, the world, etc.? Are you seeing the best in people or in your life situation? Are you seeing how it's designed to serve you? Or are you feeling, thinking, believing things aren't working out for you, or believing that you're stuck or trapped? Well, where are you in that hole? 1 is the lowest, 10 is the highest. No one else is going to see it but you. Spiritual health and well being, including your connection to your source, creator, God, your divine team. How connected to them do you feel? How expansive do you feel regarding your connection with your higher self aspects, with your own guides, guardians, masters, teachers, loved ones, with anyone in the non-physical who you love, who may have transitioned, including animals? Scale of 1 to 10. How do you feel about how you're expanding and growing spiritually? Because let me tell you, let me make this clear. Spiritual growth does not happen through the brain. The brain is a tool, but it's really not the tool. And it's not just through meditation either. right? That's just a practice. Real spiritual growth. We're going to get into this today. It's beyond the brain. Okay. Financial health and well-being, where are you there? Would you rank your wealth and prosperity and your financial mindset and your actual finances, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being highest and best? Where is it for you? And then fun and joy and play and leisure activity, leisure fun, travel. Where are you ranking there? For me, in the past year, that would have been like a 10. Right. Where are you guys all there? But maybe some of you feel like you're not having enough fun. I mean, if you're just recovering from burnout, chances are that's like a 1. I mean, at the end of last year, it would have been a 0 for me. The a year ago. That would have been a 0 for me. Literally, I wasn't having any fun. Relationship health and well-being, where are you there? How are you doing there? And career vocation, work. Do you like your work? What is your work? Is it working for you? Where are you there? Scale of 1 to 10. And then overall service and contribution in the world. How are you contributing to animals, to earth, to other humans, to nature? Okay. How are you guys doing? Can I hear some comments in the chat? How's that landing for you? Any comments? Come on, you guys, let me hear from you. Oh, you know what? I'm on hosts and panelists. Make sure you put everyone in there when you put your comments in. How's everyone doing? You guys going to be silent there? Elizabeth said, I achieved more than I thought I did. That's good. I did pretty well this year. Great to think through each one of these aspects. Diane, lower than I want to be. I get it. And there's no wrongness here. There's no wrong. Angeli said, I just have to digest it. Right. Right. When we just have to digest it, we're maybe overthinking sometimes. There's no wrongness. Okay. Here's the changes. This is where we're getting into solution. This is where we're getting into solutions. Elizabeth said, most aspects I gave a 9, my lowest being 6 and 5. All right. And it's not about ranking on a 10 of every one of them because none of us will. None of us will. Patty said, I suck at pretty much all of it. I love your honesty, Patty. I am so grateful for your honesty and your authenticity because honestly, there really is. If someone thinks they're at a 10, they're probably on everything, they're probably not being honest with themselves, right? Elizabeth got 110. Averaging, Tara says, averaging at a 7. Okay, and it's great. The whole point is for you to see where are the areas that you want to really work on in the next year. And when I say work, it's a whole different kind of work we're talking about. It's about growth, transformation, energy. This is what we're going to get into. So let's get into this now. And you can keep working on this, if you want to, but you don't have to overthink them. It's really just about you knowing what's right for you, where you want to put your focus and energy. So, number one, here are the solutions of what we need to work on overall so that we can make this paradigm shift and so we can make these changes and this growth, right? I'm going to be here easily for another probably hour, Tara. Okay. Number one, you have to understand with great clarity your soul's true divine agenda and the mission and your life script. Now, a lot of people don't really understand. You have a life script. Your higher self aspects, I will get into that, chose it for you, with you, you, the personality self, who's incarnated in the body. And we could call this a sacred scroll, but this is the life script that includes the major themes, lessons, challenges, opportunities for growth and transformation that you chose, including your own free will choice options, the free will choices that you're going to make. In other words, you have that gets to factor in as all the infinite potentials, the roads that you might choose, the paths you might travel, and the choices of others that you may interact with as well, because they have free will choices too, right? This is not about the job that you have, although ultimately, when you're truly aligned with your soul's true divine agenda, it will translate into some kind of vocation, right? When you're truly aligned, it will translate. The soul's true divine agenda are all the major themes, growth opportunities, And it ultimately is what brings about the deep fulfillment that we're really looking for, the really richly rewarding lives that we're looking for. And it also, by the way, when we're really truly aligned, it's going to support and assist us in when we're on path and aligned, we're going to be having more and more wealth and prosperity, health, well being, joy, unshakable inner peace, love. It does not mean it's without its own challenges, growth opportunities, but we're going to be revealing more of that unshakable inner peace, that deep love. That joy, that prosperity, that wealth, that abundance. That's why I was able to take a year off without barely working to reclaim because that was part of my life script to heal and resolve the people pleaser and to heal and resolve from the excessive over giving to my own harm and detriment. That's a major theme that happens with a lot of us, right? Okay, so that's number one. You got to know what that is. Now, when you don't know it and you're not absolutely clear about your soul's true divine agenda and mission and your life script, you're going to experience constant conflict, tension in some or more areas of your life, whether it's relationship with self, source, or others, whether it's financial, whether it's health challenges, physical, emotional, mental, whether it's career setbacks or feeling like you're, missing out on opportunities, self-sabotaging patterns happen, whether it's burnout, right? Now that some of that stuff is part of your script to resolve it, but generally speaking, it gets resolved very quickly, very easily, very effortlessly when you're really aligned. You start seeing the solutions, right? You get the solutions faster. And when you're misaligned, the hurdles are bigger, harder to overcome, right? A lot of people don't even know that they have this, right? In order for you to know it. Now, here's the key. We're going to get into this today because this is one of the most important things is to get to know your soul's true divine agenda, your mission. You must be in resonance with the frequencies that reveal it to you. I'm going to explain what resonance is. So important. This is like so important. When you're living under so much constant stress of this old paradigm, this stuff we started talking about, the anxiety, the overwhelm, the doubt, the fear, the uncertainty, the nervous system overload and dysregulation, all the resistance to all these things going on, that your true divine mission, the resonance is not there because you're resonating over here in stress, worry, fear, anxiety, etc. If you're a highly empathic person being overly stimulated, you're not in resonance for this to be revealed to you. Of course, DNA activations, which I love doing, they are absolutely one of the most powerful, easy and effective, graceful and enjoyable ways to reveal it to yourself. It starts to happen organically and naturally. It's one of the ways. There's other tools to learn it too, but no one tool listed here on the screen is the only tool. You cannot learn it only from sacred numerology or only from sacred nameology. Evolutionary astrology has some hints in it. Your Akashic records will reveal a lot of it to you. It reveals more and more as your chakras are cleared. We'll talk about that. It's definitely in your DNA. More and more attunements, oversoul embodiment. That really brings it in. These are all like puzzle pieces, though. The oversoul embodiment is one of the final and last steps in terms of linear progression, although none of it's completely linear. It's not really linear, but all of these things bring it together, right? Now, you're likely doing some kind of work like this already, or else you wouldn't be here. But if these things are lacking or there's still a lack of clarity and uncertainty, it means there's more work to be done, right? And when you are living in alignment, you're going to be doing more and more work that you're passionate about. You're most likely aligned with your highest calling. It gets developed over time and you come into greater alignment with your own higher self aspects, right? It gets revealed to you through you. One of the fastest roads to discover it, by the way, without question, to discover your soul's true divine agenda is by following a path of joy, excitement, inspiration, divine inspiration. What inspires you, what excites you, what feels joyful to you, and really understanding that that is the lightness, the energy that is sort of bringing you into alignment with that, right? But you got to know, you got to let it reveal to you. If you're living out of alignment, again, you're going to be suffering in some degree. And then you're learning the hard way. The 85% of the population on Earth that we were talking about, they're learning it the hard way. That's called Kensho, by the way, rather than learning it the aligned way, your dharmic path, which is called Satori. Right. So that's where the suffering is. And that's why you're seeing so much breakdown because people are living out of alignment with why they're really here. Because humanity's been turned into, okay, don't get me too distracted, but kind of a little bit of a slave race, right? Not a little bit. I'm exaggerating. I'm not even exaggerating, more than that, right? All right, number two, you must learn how to unify, invite in, and unify with your higher self aspects, including oversoul embodiment. Now, just curious here before I go on with the next part. I promise I'm going to help this with you with this, but what does it mean to you when I say your higher self aspects? And when when you ask, what do I mean by a script? Are you saying that some of our lives are predicted? Not predicted, pre-chosen, pre-planned, pre-chosen, pre-planned. Okay, Elizabeth says, first time I've ever heard about the oversoul. Michael says, heart-centered. Tara says, divine capabilities and knowing. Okay, I want to clarify this, okay? Your higher, do you guys know what the difference is between your higher self and your oversoul? I'm going to get into this. So let's talk about your higher self aspects. Your higher self is the many levels and layers of pure frequencies of consciousness. You could put it in proximity like higher than you, but really it's just of versions of your multidimensional aspects that can see and perceive what's on the horizon, past, present, future, parallel, all at once. Always there's higher self aspects of you. Every time you level up, so called to a higher self version of you, and you're not just leveling up, you're embodying, it's both more of the higher self aspect of you. You have more clarity, wider perspective, greater perspective, more awareness, more vision. But then there's always more higher self aspect that can see and know more, greater horizon, vision. So we always want to be leveling up, embodying more of the higher self, more of the light, the clarity, the purity of who we are. That's higher self aspects. Oversoul, by the way, the oversoul is the aspect that scripted the life out for you, meaning each of us as an individual, knowing we were going to walk our lives in the physical world as an individual with said name, the name that we are, and all of the variations of who we are as a unique identity, right? The soul is the eternal being that you are, who has lived countless experiences. We could call them incarnations, right? But the soul never dies, is eternal, right? Whether by the way, quantum physics is recognizing this. I think they really are. They're just not calling it in that kind of a way. They're just recognizing that there is a consciousness that is always there. I think they're recognizing that. I'm not like a scientist in that way, but pretty sure that's starting to be recognized. So, but the eternal ever being is the you that knows itself as God. God, source, creator, the infinite. That is so far beyond. It knows I am aspect of source. I'm not the whole because I'm a creator of you, of an individual, the oversoul and all the levels and layers, you see? So that eternal ever being will never incarnate into form, but it knows exactly who you are. It's beyond gender. It is part of God's source creator that said, I'm going to create a human And soul, do you want to hop into this? Let's work together. It's all part of your wholeness. Okay. So, but your higher self aspects are the part that you want to start bringing into this form. And those higher self aspects are more of the brilliance and the magnificence and the divinity of you that has every solution, that knows what to do, how to behave, that's operating in such pure frequency, right? Okay. So you have to be able to do that. That is a learning process, but not learned through the brain. I can't tell you, I can tell you how to do it, but it's not something you can do through the brain. You can't just write a list of it and then just, no, it's a practice. It's a process. There's energy involved. There's practice and process that cannot be done through the brain. The brain is the tool that helps facilitate. Okay. Number three, could just slightly move this chat out of the way. Okay, you have to continually and steadily raise your vibration and elevate your vibratory frequency and choose your core frequency. I would like to know, do any of you understand or know what it is, what your core frequency is? Do you know what that means when I say that? Does anyone know? And if you don't, it's okay because that's why you're here. Elizabeth says you know exactly who you are and what you are. Okay, well, what does that mean, Elizabeth? What does that mean? And thank you for your answer. Simrat says it's a feeling. Hmm. You will feel something, that's for sure. Tara says the state of your nervous system. No, but your nervous system, when you're at your core frequency, your nervous system is going to be something like this. Something like that all the time. Something like that. Yes, but it's a scale higher. And I love your answers, Rebecca. Thank you for your honesty. Not exactly. It means you connect with your true essence, not with what you have been told. That's true. Yes. And Ronald, thank you for your honesty. Okay, your core frequency is the vibratory state that you choose to be at any now moment and that you can anchor in and through you. Core frequency, your core vibration. Look, if we do too much, let me get into this. Stay with me because this is high level learning. If you do too much too fast, this leads to ascension symptoms, right? Popping like popcorn, nervous system dysregulation, overstimulation, too much too fast, overwhelm, can't handle it, burnout, too much too fast. Right? Really, it's like can't sleep, overstimulated, people shaking, the shakes, dizziness, all kind, heart palpitations, too much, too fast. Ascension symptoms. Too little leads to its own form of overwhelm, a different kind of energetic overload. If you're doing too little, emotional overload, diarrhea of the mouth. If you're doing too little, you're stuck, you're blocked, you're stagnant. You're burnt out, you're saddened, you're grieving, you're in depression. It's imbalance if you're doing too little vibrational attuning. None at all leads to complete stagnation, stuckness, failure to progress in life. And that includes in business, in career, financially, relationships go problematic, right? Health issues for sure. Because when you're stuck and blocked, the body eventually takes those on, right? So it's about steadily and continuously elevating your vibratory frequency, which means embodying more pure frequencies that are aligned and attuned to your higher self aspects. Patty says, my emotional state is currently comfortably numb. How's that working for you, Patty? Seriously, I'm really asking you, how's that working? Do you want to stay there? Because this is the thing. It's all choice, right? I don't think I've gotten to that part yet, but we'll get into it. Okay, so really raising your vibration and choosing your true core frequency requires, this is what we're about to get into, one thing above anything else. I wish I didn't put the answer in there. I wish I asked you guys. Resonance. Do you guys know what resonance is? What is resonance? What is resonance? Okay, the pure frequencies are of all the things that you want but don't have, right? So let me get into this. On the surface, it's okay, but I don't think it's where I'm meant to be. That's what Patty said. Matching your heart higher vibration. That's close. That's good. Frequency feels true. Yes. Okay, well, let me get into this. So, in order to raise your vibration, this is what they taught and teach in sort of like the 4D, 5D awakening, early awakening. They'll tell you go out into nature, they'll tell you go dance. I do that too. Do it. Take a bath, play with essential oils, and all that stuff will get you to a certain point. But really, when we're taught, that's resonance. Here's what resonance is. Resonance, and you can look this up online, is a phenomena. This is a real, true scientific phenomena that occurs when an object, in this case, your human body, meaning your human body, or your system, your physical system, your energy field, is subjected to an external force or vibration whose frequency is a particular resonance. So let me explain this. Worst case, normal every day, women together, they menstruate at the same time. That's because they come into resonance. One dominant frequency, and everybody starts to menstruate at the same time. A worst kind of example, a worst kind of example, go into a jail cell with a killer, and you are going to feel pretty bad pretty fast. What? The dominant frequency, even if you're love and light, you will lift up the guy in the jail cell, right? I don't want to put you in jail cells here, but I'm trying to make a point. You lift that person up, but that person's going to bring you down, right? Because chances are you're not at your core frequency, but you're coming into resonance with the energy around you. This is why your environment is so important. Now, best case scenario, you're hanging around angels all day. That's my world. I'm with angels all day long, angels and healers and masters, and their frequency is so pure. The collective that I channel, their frequency is so pure. So they're elevating my frequency, right? So so you or your body will elevate based on whatever you're in resonance with, or generally be drawn down, right? This is why highly sensitive beings, those of us who are highly sensitive people, we tend to try to stay away from negative people, right? Because we feel drained, depleted, and exhausted, right? But in order to really and truly raise your vibration, that's why you go into nature. Nature is a healer. It raises your vibration. But to really get into alignment with your higher self aspects, you need more resonance. No way around it. And the simplest word for resonance, proximity or contact. Magnetize is a good word, except for that it's not the same thing, Monica, because if you're magnetizing something to you, it's assuming, in a sense, you're magnetizing based on your current resonance. But if you want to elevate your resonance, you want to elevate your frequency, you must be in resonance with something that is of a pure frequency than you. Right? Who's the purest frequency? What's the angels, helpers, healers, guides, masters, teachers, loved ones who serve the light in the non-physical? They don't have the density. And your higher self aspects, your oversoul, your eternal ever being, which is all part of who you are. You are within all of that. See? But you must come into proximity and contact. Most people do not know how to get into resonance with that kind of purity on their own. And even if you could, most of the time, in order to break free from your own density, the blocks, the emotional, all this crap we've been talking about, you need to get into a sacred circle of pure frequency with a kind of healer or mentor or guide or teacher and many beings in the higher realms, in the non physical, who support and assist because they're already at the core frequency of love and beyond, joy and beyond. peace and beyond. They're not dealing with the extreme dualities we're dealing with in this physical world, right? Is this all landing, making sense? Yes? Yes. Yeah, D, you want to get into a sacred circle. I am going to give you an offer to join a sacred circle with me today. An offer so good, you're not going to be able to refuse it. It's so good. So stick with me. But I do want to keep with this for now. So, yeah, I mean, the collective, which are the beings that I channel, I've been channeling this group of non physical beings, which are thousands and thousands of beings. Some are with me all the time, others come and go. Sometimes I'm merging my collective with your collective or your higher self or your divine team. In my sacred circles, I do that. In my sacred visionary mentorship, I do that. I'm constantly channeling higher self being version of my students inside the sacred circles. Could be your animals who crossed over, your guides, your guardians, right? Interstellar beings. Some of you who are registered are working with a lot of interstellar beings, right? And they're available to you, and more come the more we work with them. That's why my collective has thousands and thousands of beings. One of the things I teach in my circles is a process that we can't do today, but it's called Who Stands With You. And when you start doing this practice, you start realizing how many beings and who's with different beings. If people knew how to do this, they would never be fooled again by the likes of some of these false world leaders that we have. Because I can tell you who stands with them is not someone you want standing with you. That's a whole other conversation. Okay, note about resonance before we move on. You need to be in resonance with that which you desire for extended periods of time so that you can become the energetic frequency of that which you desire. Otherwise, you're just going to have a peak experience. So it's not sustainable. That's why when people go to a weekend conference like with Tony Robbins or, and I'm not trying to name names, but whomever it is, you get a peak experience. Joe D, whoever, you get a peak experience. But if you can't sustain it, then you leave, you drop. Oh, what, then you feel bad, right? Happens at expos all the times. I speak at a lot of expos. I get it, right? So you have a brief moment of a high, but you can't sustain it. It's sustained attunement that is required. That can only come when you are in resonance for an extended period of time. This is why this is so important. Extended period of time and exposure. Sacred circles do that. Now, let's move on because I got a lot more to cover. I'm only on number 4. I got so much more. Okay, you must completely shift your mindset about everything in your life that you're believing and perceiving that's not working for you. And this is one of the biggest challenges. I've really worked on this in my life because truthfully, we have so many beliefs and belief systems that we don't even realize, points of view and perspectives, we don't even realize that they're in the way. And even when I was working on mindset stuff, especially around like career success, work success, health and things, in the early days, I was like, I don't know what is the right belief. But here's what I learned very quickly. I could ask God, Source, Creator, the Infinite, for God's truth. And I could start to align my truth to be at one with God. That was an early learning for me. Now I teach it to all my students. How do you do that? How do you do that? People don't even know that's possible. Of course it's possible. It's all frequency, it's all resonance, it's all a vibration. When you start downloading, awakening, activating, embodying source creator God truth on anything, this is where divine discernment starts to get developed. And then you have truths that are undeniable. Because here's the thing, a perspective or a belief system, it's just a choice. You can choose what to believe. You can choose any mindset you want. But if you want truth, absolute truth, there's only one place to go for that. God, source, creator, the infinite, the all that is. And that is a frequency that is available, right? We must become resonant with it. If you don't know how, well, it's not something you can't learn, but it's not something you can be taught through the brain. It's not taught in any books. It's something that you do experience, participate in. Okay, but this needs to happen because if you want more money, if you're tuned to the frequency of poverty and lack, Doesn't matter. If you want to be more successful and you're attuned to the frequency of it's not possible, it's not available, and those are where your belief systems are because your reality has demonstrated that to you based on what you believe, that's what you're going to be experiencing. So you have to change your mindset in addition to changing your frequency, right? Raising your vibration. This means you have to resolve these mental distortions, clear inaccurate beliefs, and limiting beliefs and belief systems. You have to change your perspective to something that's more true, real, right, and accurate. And you have to be able to identify what those things are, including all the stuck points, the mental minutia. What are the inaccuracies, right? You have to learn new ways of thinking, not just what to think. See, the old paradigm teaches us what to think. And we're taught what to think and what to believe through the school systems, through the net mass media, through social media, culture, through through the advertising. Oh my God, we're taught what to think, not how to think. We're not even taught what truth is. We're just taught what somebody else wants us to believe. So we have to learn new ways of thinking and how to think. How do you think? And I teach people how to think, how to ask right and appropriate questions to get to truth. Okay, developing divine discernment. This is so important. In 1 year, 1 and 2, the next 2 years, divine discernment. Whether or not people know that word yet, it will start coming out because it is the most important tool you can have when there's nothing but lies and crap being told to you in the physical world. So, divine discernment is developed by, first of all, let me make it clear what it is. It's the ability to know what's true and what's not, what's opinion and what's perspective, what's absolute and what's just a belief system. Beliefs and belief systems are not absolute. Absolute truth does not require you to believe it for it to be absolutely true. It doesn't matter whether you believe it. It's real, whether you believe it or not. A good example, oh, I could go on and on about this, but I don't have time. So when you are start to embody divine discernment, you have massive amounts of clarity and certainty. Of course, I teach this. Of course, I do. Of course, it's so important because it's where you start recognizing the resonance of what divine truth is. It's your whole body, it's whole body knowing. This is divine certainty, divine gnosis. Again, we're using pure frequencies here to do this. And so you get what you're meant to get. Now, let me say something. When you're doing that, by the way, it naturally expands your consciousness and elevates you in who you are, right? Because other interference doesn't, it just not even resonant with who you are because you're embodying more divine truth. I think there's a slide missing or else that's going to come, but I'm just going to say it right here because it's important. Divine discernment. Yeah, I think I do get into it later with divine discernment. I'll get to it later. It comes up later. It's just important to understand it. It's not skepticism that gets you there. Skepticism's a blocker. Cynicism's a blocker. Doubt is a blocker. That's why I often say I don't have any interest in working with people who are skeptics and cynics because they're not interested in knowing truth. Unconsciously, they're self-sabotaging themselves. They're cynical and skeptical. That is not someone who says, I really want truth. I'm open. What is true? What is real? Even if I don't like it. There's a lot of truths in the world I don't like, but they're truths. Okay. Number 5, moving on. We must all, or you must clear, heal, and resolve the emotional related upsets, including emotional imbalances, traumas, and upsets, right? There's no way to elevate yourself into pure frequencies to get what you want if you're still carrying traumas, emotional upsets, if you're highly triggerable, highly emotional, erratic, right? This is called shadow work. This is the stuff that I know a lot of you do. And then a lot of people sort of try to bypass it. They try to learn everything through the brain. They show up to podcast after podcast, but they're not really actively engaging, right? That's called spiritual bypassing. It doesn't work. It leads you kind of down the rabbit hole of nowhere, leads to stagnation. We have to get into that stuff. Now, the beauty is it can be done so gracefully, so easily. so beautifully, wonderfully. But every time there's a trigger, there's conflict, there's volatility, there's emotional turbulence, emotional imbalance, leads you to feeling disempowered, right? That creates career setbacks and stagnation. That creates relationship challenges, financial starts and stops, or perpetual lack. And of course, leads to physical health issues. Emotional imbalances turn into physical imbalances. And this list goes on and on. So, there's no way you can avoid that in this new, if you're going to raise your vibration and elevate into the new paradigm. And if you want something, I mean, just put in, if you would, you guys, into the chat, what is it that you want? What do you really want? Do you want a new love interest? Do you want to reach more people in your business, more greater audience? Do you want your YouTube to increase? Do you want to learn how to channel? Do you want to communicate telepathically with your animal? Financial independence? Okay, well, what do you think is the frequency that's blocking you here? The emotional upset. It's some kind of trauma or emotional, psychic warfare, spiritual warfare on the issues related to poverty and lack. Some kind of lack or limitation. That's the frequency. That's the emotional wounds or traumas or upsets. Right, Tara says career success and shining in your abilities. Great. Well, what is the emotional triggers or emotional upsets or emotional imbalances or beliefs, belief systems, thoughts, and opinions that are somehow interfering? Okay, Monica, if you want to move or relocate to Mexico, what's stopping and or blocking you? And we don't want to get lost in what's stopping and or blocking you, but whatever that is what needs to be somehow cleared, healed, resolved, neutralized. This is the energy healing that we do. This is what I call energy healing. Whatever it is that's blocking you or keeping you stuck or standing in your way is what needs to be cleared, healed, neutralized. That is emotional trauma, upset, whatever it is. And it might be mental blocks, belief systems, right? Okay, Diane says using my gifts in a successful business. Yeah. And divine lover partner. Yeah. But if you're somehow holding something either unconsciously on the mental or emotional plane, I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy, no one's interested in me, there's no one out there, no one's available. These are just some of the things. I'm not saying that's you necessarily, but that stuff is keeping you in a vibrational bandwidth here, and your lover's over here saying, "Where's my lady?" Or something like that, right? I mean, it's right. We're going to get into this. So stay with me because there's a lot more I'm covering. But the worst of these issues is that you're constantly derailing yourself in some form or another because you're trying to accomplish something from this vibrational resonance here with this set of emotions and this set of mental patterns and this set of beliefs and belief systems. And you're wondering why you can't get from here to there. That's the gap. We'll get into it. But you're, in order to have your goals, dreams, and desires, whatever they are, this is the stuff that needs to be cleared. Otherwise, you're just stuck feeling frustrated, hopeless, stagnant, blocked, and limited, right? And that leads to what we call timeline distortions and delays. I could do a whole class just on that. But it means you're not really aligning with your most benevolent, best life path and journey because you're kind of stuck and stagnant here because those emotional and mental traumas, etc., aren't being resolved, right? And you end up unconsciously coddling to the lower self aspects. This is what Patty was talking about. Are you still with us, Patty? You're unconsciously coddling to the lower self aspects that need some form of healing or transformation. And that's why when you said earlier, Patty, if you're still here, yeah, that you felt like you were kind of stuck in that comfort zone. I don't remember the exact words you used, so forgive me, but you did say it's something like that in the chat. So the idea is to permanently clear, heal, and resolve these issues so that they have no effect on you anymore. Healing the emotional triggers and traumas, neutralizing the emotional imbalances, freeing and liberating yourself from these kinds of distortions, shifting and changing the attitudes and the attitudinal patterns. I had a woman in one of my classes a long time ago, and she didn't really stay with me long enough. But she did always, I learned of such a valuable lesson from her because she would sort of come into resonance, then she'd leave. She'd come back, she'd leave. And she would sort of, I mean, I'm using this word, sort of complain, like, why isn't it working for her? And it always bothered me because I was like, why isn't it working for her? And what I realized is she had a really bad attitude. She kept complaining. Well, because she wasn't really sticking with it. She'd come, she'd go. You have to be in sacred circle. You have to show up for yourself, right? Okay, but let me say this other thing I didn't mention, really important, removing the addiction to drama and the external reality. Man, you got to do that. Because people in the external world, they're addicted to drama and they don't know it. That's why people turn on TV shows that have violence and all kinds of things that are not lifting your field. They're making you resonant with something that's right. That's the 85%. I get it. That's not typically that much our circle, but we all shift into there, right? So we have to clear that stuff. There's also a lot of ancestral distortions and karmic issues, past parallel life issues that are unresolved. That's all in there. All right. And frequency fences. That's what I want to get into. These are all things. It takes a highly gifted, and this is where I'm tapping my own horn, a highly gifted, highly intuitive coach, guide, mentor, healer to help you navigate these turbulent energies. Because they're like tidal waves. They just sweep you out to sea, and before you know, you're like out there without a life preserver. I was that. I was out there without a life preserver, going from healer, coach to coach. Nobody could, they couldn't seem to help me. That's when I realized I have gifts that aren't out there. I have gifts that are just not out there in the world. And I was like, I need someone like me. I'm laughing at myself. All right, number seven. These are the things we have to do, right? Of course, I'm going to offer you more solution, but when you really understand, this is what needs to change. Because I was like, what do I need to do? I started realizing these are all the things I've been doing that made the change for me. All right, you have to be able to regulate your nervous system, right? You got to know how to regulate your nervous system. All right, I gotta just say this. This is where I might put some, sticky points on some people. I don't mean to trigger, but I want to expand consciousness. And these are the circles where we do this. Please understand our nervous systems are under attack. That is psychic spiritual warfare underway. Fluoride in the water. It shuts down the pineal pituitary. I know you guys all know it. It dumbs down the brain. Overuse or misuse of big pharma as a false solution. These are pill mills. They basically, there is a time and a place, I understand, but overuse and misuse, when things turn into just pill mills and you got to stay on a pill forever, now you're disconnected from your source and your higher self aspects and your own DNA that has the solution to everything. This leads me into the DNA fuckery. Sorry for my language, which is, being stuck in people's arms through needles and jabs and things like that. Again, I apologize. None of us are wrong. We make the best choices we can. This is all healable and resolvable, but our nervous systems are under attack. Blue light, fake light, especially this BS lies we're being told about LED light. I'm sorry, it really doesn't save power. That's what we're being told. It's the blue light. It's so unhealthy for your nervous system. Technology, wireless, the 5G grid. Yes, we can work with it. There are ways, but the way we're working with it, our nervous systems are under attack. Don't even get me started on the AI agenda because people don't even know what that is yet. But there literally is an agenda to disconnect you from your source, your higher self aspects, and turn you into some form of robotized. I mean, it might sound dramatic, and I don't have time to get into it too much, but these are the things that are attacking our nervous system. Chemtrails in the sky, chemicals being dumped in the sky, and people don't even know if it's real. They believe what they've been told, that it's designed to block the harmful solar rays. I mean, come on, the lies that have been fed to us. GMO in our foods, artificial sweeteners, and diet sodas, those things are toxic poison and they're in everything. They're all over the place. I don't even like it if I go to a restaurant and those things are on the table. Those pink, yellow, blue packets. Now they've just started to make them in green packets. Okay, if there are stevia, organic, all natural, that's one thing, but a lot of them are just those same companies trying to, okay, they're adapting. White sugar in everything. White sugar is the most highly addictive drug on the planet besides things that are formally called drugs. Chemical cleaning products that we're taught that these chemicals are clean, but they're toxic chemicals. They're in our sheets, our clothes. All right, I'm on my tirade. I got to move on. Homes being built too close to and on top of one another, our nervous systems are under attack. And the musical frequencies, I put a post on my Facebook. The musical frequencies have been massively manipulated. When you're listening to music or TV, boom, 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 your nervous system. Look at my dog, just, you probably can't see her. She just jumped from that. It's disrupting. It's creating disharmony. By the way, the Rockefeller Rothschild Alliance with Joseph Goebbels, one of the heads in the World War II, or whatever his role was in the Nazi regime in 1939, they messed with the music frequencies and the note of the A note to create aggression and disharmony. They did tons of research on this. So they're literally deliberately creating aggression and disharmony in our own energy fields. This is spiritual warfare. So how do you cope? You have to, oh, I didn't put this in. I realized you have to know how to do nervous system regulation. Breath work is a great tool. Meditation is a great tool. Time in nature is a great tool. We do it in our sacred circles in a way that brings us into resonance with the divine. Restores, realigns, rebalances. We do it in the DNA activation calls. I always invite people to DNA activation webinars. Okay, so you have to learn how to do that. Number 7, you have to understand how to navigate your way out of the old paradigm with ease and grace and liberate yourself so you can energetically align and progress in the new paradigm. So when this isn't properly happening, there's all kinds of occurrence after occurrence, contradiction-like experiences that cause you and your nervous system to contract and wind up. This is why us highly sensitive beings, who resonates as a highly sensitive being, that's why we get overwhelmed and overstimulated, and that's why we seek solitude. But in nature, right, most of the time. But we're community people. We need one another, right? So this isn't something you do once. It's over and over and over again, understanding how to navigate. And it eventually you get so good at it, eventually, that that stuff it just becomes a faint memory. It's like you start looking at things like, oh God, I remember that. The other day I was driving, I'm in Florida again, as I mentioned. I was driving down the road, and in Florida they have all these like outside bars where everybody's drinking and smoking. And I was just like driving past and I was like, oh, I remember when I used to think that was fun. Just things become a distant memory. Again, the real solution is to be inside of a sacred container that is firmly anchored in new paradigm energetics that allows you to never forget the higher truths of who you are, the truth of who you really are, not the false illusions in the old paradigm, not all that density, and to anchor in those pure frequencies, right? Okay, number 8, you must awaken your unlimited dormant DNA, your dormant potential. I'm gonna have to breeze through this a little faster because of time, but that includes extrasensory abilities, all of your clairs, all of your intuition. There's no one who does not have these gifts. The time has come and gone, as far as I'm concerned, for people to be wondering if it's even real. I think that's a joke when I see that on TV, like, is paranormal phenomena real? Or when people, I was on like podcasts years ago where they would laugh when I would say things like, oh, yeah, you got to activate your third eye. That's your pineal pituitary gland, master glands. Or you got to clear your chakras. These are the major energy centers. This is like not woo woo. This is real. Like, yeah, you got to know how to access the different brainwave frequencies. You can't do telepathy from a beta or an alpha brainwave. It just doesn't work. But when you start understanding what a theta brainwave is, telepathy is so easy. Energy IQ, this is a whole other conversation. Understanding the different subtleties of energy. The other day, I was watching a video, and I bless and honor, love, respect this person, famous person, Gaia TV. but he was saying something. I think it was an ad for Gaia, and he was saying, if you learn how to visualize, you will change your life. And the energy was like, oh my God, this guy's got so much suppressed anger that he's not even aware of. And I could feel it. Now, I'm a highly sensitive being. My energy IQ is really high, like higher than most. So, of course, I'd pick that up. Maybe someone else wouldn't. Obviously, whoever is watching that. But I was like, man, this is who's teaching us. Like, really? We're ready for the next level, right? Understanding energy IQ is so important because how can you really up level your frequency to be aligned and attuned with the love of your life, with just even selling your house, with bringing your gifts out into the world, with traveling to the country you want to travel to with ease and grace and benevolence and joy, like whatever it is you want, unless you're vibrationally attuned to it. And if you're tuning into something that's just boom, 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 right? Your energy IQ has to be up level. This is part of your dormant potential. There's no one who can't do this. We all have it. Of course, accessing your supernatural abilities, right? And you have to learn how to manifest. We'll get into that. So, of course, you got to clear your pineal gland. I mean, I do activations for people, but you can learn how to clear your pineal and pituitary glands so easy. You can learn how to develop your clairs so easy. You know what your clairs are, right? You guys? Your five clairs? Really? There's more than five now? If you want to channel, you have to learn how to get into a gamma brainwave. You want to be a real channeler? I learned how to channel by just getting in resonance with my team to such a degree. And after a long time, that's when I learned, oh, they told me way after, oh, you're in a gamma brainwave. That's how come. Okay, so I'm going to skip through all this, but here's your clairs, right? Clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairgoustiance, clairalience, right? Clear seeing, seeing with your third eye, seeing with your vision beyond what others can see. I can see the light around people. I can see all the beings that stand with them, right? There's so much more seeing than we're seeing. Clear hearing, being able to hear extrasensorily, way beyond just the regular hearing of the ears, which it's not your ears that hear, by the way, it's your brain that hears, but clear knowing, right, which eventually develops into divine discernment, clear feeling and sensing, clear tasting, clear smelling, right? All that stuff. Theta brainwave, this is the brainwave for telepathy. My people in my circles know how to get like this. They know exactly. I'm in alpha, I'm in theta, I'm in beta. They know how to get into all of them. In, out, in, out. We access those brainwaves so easy. Of course, delta's when you're sleeping, right? Most humans are only using beta or maybe alpha. They use alpha if they're chilling out, if they're, see, if you're overusing your technology and you're just like in the zone, you start to be in alpha, your brainwaves are tuning to this artificial frequencies of the technology, right? Not healthy. Okay. There's a lot of animal communicators who have come to me over the years who'll say, like, I took so many classes, like I have students in my class, and they're like, oh, I've taken this class, it's not working. But most of the time, it's because they're just trying to use an alpha brainwave or their own energetic densities in the way. All right, all that stuff can be cleared. I don't have time to go into all the chakras, but when you start clearing the chakras, you're clearing your core pillar here. Like, this is like your teeth. You got to floss your teeth every day. You got to take a shower every day. You got to clear your chakras because people are accumulating so much junk in all of these chakra centers, so they're blocked. And that turns into physical body issues, health issues. Whether or not science recognizes that is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. We have to start knowing. That's what we do. We develop our divine discernment. You have to clear your chakras so you have clarity of knowing, of being, so that you can allow more of the consciousness of your higher self aspects to come in, the pure frequencies and your own oversoul, so that you can become attuned to whatever it is that you're choosing. And you heal and resolve all that other stuff. This is making sense. Everybody with me? Yeah? Everybody with me? Okay, good. All right, I'm not going to spend too much time on the DNA, but you got to activate your DNA. So Let me say this, clearing your chakras, for example, you clear your chakras, it's like flossing your teeth or taking a shower. You got to do it all the time. DNA activations, you have to do it all the time, but it's totally different. It compounds. The more DNA activation you do, the more it compounds. Whereas flossing, clearing your chakras, you're doing it every time. I mean, it compounds in the sense that you don't build up gunk in your teeth, in your chakras. But with DNA activations, the more you do, it's like going to the gym. Yeah, you still have to do it a lot, all the time, regularly, but the more muscle strength builds. That's the thing about DNA activations, the more clearing. And of course, I'm talking way beyond the first two strands, right? Because we're multidimensional beings and we have at least 24 strands of DNA, at least. And we haven't even activated, science doesn't even know that there's more than 12 because we haven't activated enough of it yet. Right? That's all of our greatest potential in there. All right, so divine discernment, I've been talking about this. I don't want to spend too much time since I did address it earlier, but it's this is the slide I was referring to. It doesn't come from skepticism and cynicism and doubt. That just blocks things. It comes from the ability to know truth or it comes from the desire and the willingness to know truth. But it comes from, and it is the ability to know truth without needing to question, but it's developed through the energetic embodiment and attunement to divine truth. It's not even possible if you're busy being a skeptic and a cynic. You have to desire to know truth, really, truly, wholly and completely. So embodying divine truth, and divine truth is God's truth, God, source, creator, right? Infinite, all that is. Okay, so these gifts start to naturally awaken within us. They're not blocked from us. What is required is our full and complete active participation. And they radically improve our lives as we start to utilize them, radically improve our lives in every area of life. And what's amazing is that you start reclaiming your power with this, right? Here, this is where I'm at 9. You have to reclaim your real, true, authentic power. Because the external reality is trying to have control over you. The false authorities, the false systems and structures, they're telling you what to think, what to believe. I'm saying you, but I mean all of us. So that external reality has power and control over us to the extent that we're recognizing it as a power. But in truth, your union with your source is where your power comes from. Your true divine power. And that power will never be misused or abused. Not really. You'll use it to serve and contribute to the greater good of self and others, harm to none, right? But this is the work of reclaiming your power and potency. This stuff that we're talking about here now. Okay. And you do have to learn how to manifest and materialize. So manifestation is not woo-woo. You're always manifesting. Look at your life. Look at your life right now. Whatever it is, good, bad, and indifferent, you have manifested that. And yes, there was orchestration with your oversoul and your higher self aspects and your free will choices and choices of others and all that stuff of your soul's agenda. But what's going on in your life, you manifested that. You created it. Good, bad, ugly, pretty, all of it. It's not woo-woo. We're always doing it 24/7. I recently had a very high profile, well, I have a lot of high profile clients, but this one particular high profile client came to me regarding her most beloved animal companion. And she came to me, she was just heartbroken. This animal companion was going through all kinds of health challenges. And she had this kind of thing going on in her, like she would be the best mom to this animal no matter what, because she was carrying a trauma related to her own mother, how her own mother deprived her of some of what she needed in terms of health care. And she's playing out this trauma without realizing it. And she's racking up bills to take care of her dog, hundreds of thousands of dollars of bills. And she didn't see that pattern, why the trauma was creating the experience that was leading to this experience with her dog that she's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to help heal the dog because she'll do anything for the dog because of the trauma of her mother not doing it for her. Can you see this? Is this making sense? Well, she's miscreating. She gets on the phone with me. I'm like, sweetie, you're miscreating. You're just working with unconscious traumas here and wounding patterns. And the dog, I'm an animal communicator, right, is helping you to resolve the traumas. How do you want to do this? Painfully, you know, Kensho, or joyfully, Satori? What do you want? "Oh, I want to make the change." Of course you do. Let's clear that energy. Let's resolve that karma. Let's heal that trauma. Let's stop you from miscreating, like bleeding out with the dog, and let's put you on a new timeline. Totally different energy. I didn't even hear back from her for a little while. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, a couple months later, I'm like, what's going on? Oh, everything's great. Everything's fine. I'm like, yeah, that's what happens. We just cleared all that energy. Talk to the dog. The dog knows what's going on. We shift. Saved her hundreds of thousands of dollars with the animal vet. But this is miscreating, right? We have to know how to create in a conscious way. We have to understand what is manifestation really. It is the conscious and deliberate materialization of what you desire into your life experience, which really is you just lining up with what's out there, what's available for you, healing and resolving those densities. Make sense? I'm breezing through this, but I'm telling you, this is the stuff we go deep into, giving you as much as I can here. But there's no one who's excluded from this. There's no one who doesn't have divine team members and the non-physical. There's no one who can't do this, learn this, change this, make these shifts. This is what we're here for. There's no exceptions. It's available to you. It's just not everybody will choose it. Here's the big caveat. This is the big caveat. Choice. Choice. Free will choice. You have to choose it, not just with your brain. You have to actively participate. You got to get in a sacred circle. You got to learn it. You got to work with someone who understands. You got to be willing to look at the junk, what I call the junk in your trunk. You got to actively engage in getting those chakras cleared. I can clear your chakras for you, but you got to do it every day. It's like brushing your teeth. I can activate your DNA for you. I do it all the time. But when you get in the circle, you start learning how to do it for yourself. You come into resonance. Oh, this is how it works. Now I know what I didn't know. But it's not because somebody taught you, it's because you actually participated and were like, wow, it's free will choice. You have to actively participate. You can't sit on the sidelines and just learn about this through the brain because otherwise we could hang up from this call. And yeah, you'll be more evolved and progressed and advanced. And of course, the energy of the group and my voice and what I'm sharing, and it's going to elevate you to some degree, but it won't make the huge transformational changes that you want and that are required during this massive evolutionary leap if you just go back to being the same way you always were. And that's just the way reality works. The new way is not about struggle and effort, hustle and grind. It's about energetically shifting, vibrational attunements. See, when you finally do choose it, you will realize that it was what you were waiting for all along. You will realize it. You'll be living in alignment with your most benevolent, best life path and journey. You'll be making significant impact in the world and feeling. Yes, someone before said feeling. You will be feeling in resonance with your core frequency, the vibratory state that feels most right to you. And those will be energies that are of the divine, pure, pure. You'll feel more empowered. You'll have so much more confidence and clarity. And that, but the benefits that come from that, from understanding, this is the resonance I need to be to have the success. This is the resonance I need to be to travel, to Mexico. For example, even with that, somebody put in that they want to travel to Mexico. I had someone in my circle, brand new in my sacred circle, who said, I want to go, I'm going down to Mexico. I don't want any problems. I'm hoping. Brand new to my circle, hadn't worked with me. We shifted him out of hope. What are you hoping? Hoping is your fear. You're still carrying fear. What are you afraid of? Well, you're carrying fear. You're hoping? No, you're creating, you're manifesting. What are you going to have and experience? What do we need to do to energetically shift you to the vibratory state where you get to have that experience of traveling to Mexico with so much brilliant, beautiful ease and grace, divinely protected, not from fear, but from divine alignment, what you're meant to be doing, where you're meant to be going, that everything lines up in perfect divine order for you. Zero fear. That everything's working with you and for you because you're a vibrational match for that which you desire. Right? This is what happens when you finally start making this shift. You're like, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for, waiting for, wanting for, wishing for my whole life. You will have so much more confidence and certainty. And yeah, you'll have more prosperity, financial rewards, and you will be living in accordance with your highest and most benevolent best. It's not a pill, but it does happen. Happens so much easier than you even can imagine. All right. I still got more to cover and I'm starting to run low on time, but I just want to talk about bifurcation. This is really important. Does anyone know what bifurcation is? What do you guys think bifurcation is? Well, the answer is kind of on the screen. So bifurcation is the frequency gap, frequency fences. This is not taught out there. I mean, I was given this, right? So when you're in a bifurcation state, most people think bifurcation is old paradigm, new paradigm. There's truth to that. Old way of operating, new way of operating. 3D, 5D. No, it's not bilocation, but that's a good guess. But no, bilocation is I'm here, now I'm going there without moving my physical body. Bilocation, right? No. Bifurcation is energetic distance. Energetic distance. So, what is the distance between you, us here today, and 2020 COVID? Energetic distance. It's energetic frequency. We are not a match anymore to a reality where COVID and a pandemic became a mass hysteria and everyone died. We're just not a match to that. That's not. We matched out of that. What is 2021 in now? When it was complete hysteria over lockdown. So everybody gave up their freedoms and self-imposed lockdown because they let their external powers and authority. I didn't lock down. I was traveling the country, but I was activating DNA, immunity and imperviousness. But okay, not making anyone wrong. What is the different distance between that timeline and this one we're on? Freedom, the energy of freedom, perhaps, but energetic distance. Okay, this is bifurcation. It is the gap in vibrational proximity between one experience and another, two different timelines. Okay, it's high level learning. I told you. What's the gap between you, for example, Diane, who wants to be doing her most fabulous career, work, business, and her not doing it here and her doing it here? What is the gap? That is the energetic distance. It's the vibrational bandwidth between you here now and you version of you that is more fully embodied with the energy, frequency, vibration, consciousness that you're meant to be so that you can have that experience of being who you want to be, what you want to be, how you want to be, doing what you want to do, being who you want to be. What is the gap between you, Paula? I think that was Paula before, if you're still here, who said you were having some health challenges. I don't know if that was you. I thought I saw that in there. It was something different. But anyone who's having health challenges versus the person who's fully, wholly, and completely healed and recovered. The gap. That's energetic distance, okay? The gap is a frequency fence. I love this conversation. I could spend an hour and a half just on this. The frequency fence, oh, I put two slides in there, is is the energetic difference between a current state of consciousness, energy, and vibration, and the consciousness, energy, and vibration of who you want to be and what you want to have or experience. You over here as an identity doesn't have what you want. You over here as an identity does. The gap, the only way to clear that frequency fence is by changing your vibration. How do you change your vibration? Through all the things we were just steps 1 through 10 I just talked about. All those things are what are needed. So now, the fastest and easiest way and most enjoyable way to shift your energy vibration is through resonance. Ronald, thank you for your nice comment. He said you're amazing. Resonance. Resonance. Oh, that's so funny, Ronald. You just prayed for divine truth and now because you were stuck yesterday and this is what you needed. I'm so glad. So the best and easiest way to shift your energetic vibration is through resonance. You have to come into resonance with the pure frequency that will allow you to drop the junk in the trunk. Yes, clear out that stuff and up level, simultaneously embody more of the frequencies of who you truly are meant to be, because the calling that's within you, whether it's to have a new love interest, to succeed in your business, to reach more people with your message, to heal or resolve certain ascension symptoms, because ascension symptoms, if you go back, Monica, are related to not the right divine pace for you, is just to come into the right resonance for you, a pure frequency container. Okay. Is this landing? Sounds like it is, right? It's not just surrounding yourself with high vibes, but that's part of it, environmental for sure. But it's learning how to bring in the energies and consciousness in and through you. Because if you're only surrounding yourself, D, with the high vibes, that means the moment you leave the high vibes, the moment you leave the high vibes and you go somewhere like the grocery store, well, now you're just like, oh, it's too much energy. I go into like those stores like that. I'm like, oh, this feels bad. But I know my core frequency is high enough that I can sustain it and rebuild. It's about really shifting your energy, vibration, frequency, right? Okay. Yeah, you need to know how to be able to generate it. That's right. And before you can generate it, you have to come into resonance with it. So, okay, that's awesome though. Yes, Steve, thanks for sharing that. Okay, so the challenge is that most people don't realize what's at the root of these issues, the core issues. They can't see their own blocks. They can't see the bigger picture, the higher purposes of these things. They can't see the forest through the trees. They don't understand how things are designed here. They don't really know how reality is structured to work with it, to manifest in a conscious way. They don't understand, like, even with the example I gave you with the person I was talking about, she really couldn't see how she was playing out a core childhood trauma, right? So people don't know how to get out of their own way. If you're running some kind of karmic program or a looping pattern in the brain, it's really hard to get unstuck from that because that's the resonance you're in. That's the vibratory state, the energetic bandwidth. You're stuck behind your own frequency fence. This is the challenge, right? We're stuck behind our own frequency fence. And by the way, there are so many people going to business coaches and spending, and I did it too. I mean, I get it. You know, you're investing like 25K in a business coach or a marketing or mentor, 50K, and they're giving you some recipe. But if your energetic frequency is still like here, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you learn some kind of recipe or strategy for marketing or business promotion, because if your unconscious is programmed or wired somehow to self-sabotage, or if the overload or the overwhelm or the people pleasing, that's what happened to me, becomes too big, you'll be like, whoa, I can't even do what they're telling me to do because I have to heal my own wounded trauma. Right. But most people don't see that or they don't know that. So it doesn't work for them. You're playing out the same pattern over and over again on the hamster wheel, right? This is the challenge. Right. And another major challenge is that people try to do things themselves. I can't tell you how many. I used to more often say that I'd work with light workers, but the challenge of light workers is we're very powerful people, but we have this belief system like we can do it all ourselves. And I can tell you, as somebody who knows, you can't do it all yourself. And if you try to do it all yourself, you stay stuck. If you believe that you can do it yourself, it's the fastest road to nowhere. It's the fastest road to nowhere because the price of ignorance is the highest price you will ever pay for anything. That was one of the questions that was going to come up later. If you don't know what you don't know and you can't see through the forest, through the trees, you don't understand the higher purpose. You need someone who's clear, who's unentangled, uninvolved from the drama, the upsets, the challenges, the emotional dross, all that energetic density. This is why sacred containers are so important because unconscious patterns, sabotaging patterns and behaviors, ways of thinking and believing, they block you. And they stop people and then they get stuck in mediocrity and they don't take action. And this is their free will choice, free will choice. So they don't access their full potential. And they'll go to like these, weekend, peak things like, Tony Robbins event, and it'll make them high for a weekend, but it's really not the change, lasting change they need. And he gets that. That's why he tells you, that's why you go to one of those free weekend retreats and he invites you to a year-long program that's $30,000. But even still, they're not really working. They're still working on the mental plane. Most of what they're doing is all mental. I'm not poo-pooing there. I'm just saying these are the old paradigm teachers. They're not going to get us to where we're going, right? So, with active participation and appropriate right action, it shifts all of this. You start experiencing more and more of your natural and organic states of real, true freedom, sovereignty, personal power, spiritual union, authentic success, divine abundance and prosperity. Because let me give you a hint. Let me give you a hint. Source Creator God is infinitely abundant and prosperous and will supply for us when we're working in alignment with what we're really meant to do and who we're really meant to be. This list will go on and on. The benefits are uncountable. And of course, this kind of thing ripples out because you're going to make that impact with yourself, but it's going to ripple out to your clients, your students, your family, your colleagues, into your career, your finances, your health, and of course, your own personal and spiritual development. Here's the great news. It doesn't require hours and hours of meditation, but it does require some degree of steady and continuous practices that are very enjoyable. It does require appropriate action. It's not hard work. You don't have to wait for some future date. Remember everybody who thought like you're waiting for 2012 that never came? Like it did come. But I'm just saying it's not a future date. It's like a whole group that was waiting for an event. And then when it became event after event after event after event, then they changed their language to the event is happening. But it's just lots of events, event after event after. No, it's just you choosing it, actively participating. You don't have to go to a sacred space. Back when I went through this stuff, I moved to Maui because I really believed you had to go to a sacred space or location where you have to pay like $50,000 to go to Egypt and try to sit in a tomb. No, you don't have to do that. You really don't. Not anymore, not in New Paradigm. And you don't have to take some kind of fake drug or plant medicine because even the plant medicine is becoming less, listening for the word, less potent now because it's been to a certain degree misused and abused. It's not something you have to earn. You're already worthy of it. It is available to you now. It's easy, it's graceful, it's fun, it's enjoyable, it's empowering. It requires your free will choice and active participation. This is it. Right and appropriate action, resonance. You have to come into resonance and be in some kind of safe, sacred container and community of some kind where you can learn to embody it in a repeatable, sustainable way that it allows you to become resonant with the frequencies that you must desire, that you most desire. Ronald just said, "Where were you? You should have been here in 1999." That's funny. I've been here. I'm not a spring chicken. Okay, so consistent and steady discipleship and becoming a pioneer of consciousness, right? That's what we're talking about. And this puts you on your most benevolent best timeline, really, where you're blossoming, you're blooming, you're thriving, you're prospering. Your real, true, authentic connection with your source is deepening. And this no one can take from you. No one. Because it is your soul's true reason for being here. That part is universal. Our souls want to remember who we are and reclaim our right, our true divine birthright, to be at one with our source, even though we're having a physical experience in a human body. And to bring that into the world and share it through our career, through our vocation, through our family, at the dinner table, at the Thanksgiving table. Do you know, for 10 years, I'd go to Thanksgiving with my family and I'd be like, let's all do a gratitude. 10 years. The first few years, they'd roll their eyes, they wouldn't do it. The next few years, they'd do it begrudgingly. Then, after a couple of years, they started to like it a little while. They'd start to do. This year, they said, let's do a gratitude around the table. I was like, 10 years. So funny, right? But this is what everybody wants, whether they say it or not, right? Okay, I'm gonna speed up here, but the truth about bifurcation and the external reality is you don't have to believe that's anything in the external reality. It doesn't really have power over you, even though it has influence. It has influence until you start elevating your frequency, embodying those energies so pure that you become the light that everybody else wants. It is true. You become the true light bearer that you're meant to be. You become the leader in your circle, whether it's a business circle, you know, it doesn't matter, whatever, whether it's your mahjong, your tennis group, right? Your goddess circle, whatever it is that you're leading, you become the light because you're holding that frequency so pure within you. And this really is the truth. No matter where you're at, no matter where your numbers at the beginning of our practice, where you can turn things around very quickly because energetic vibration shifts everything so fast and beautifully and gloriously, so easily. So this is the solution, right? I want to take a few moments just to talk about some of my students, right? This is Vivian. She came into the group. She said she knew nothing. She didn't have any. She just wanted to awaken her intuitive gifts. And these by all these testimonials are on my YouTube channel. You can hear it from their voice themselves. But she really said how much her ability to communicate with animals and her psychic gifts increased her in almost no time. And she really felt so much more confidence and confidence and certainty. And her practices really improved her life. She started a business too. She started a business. She like really was amazed how much her work was blossoming while we were working together. This is Pia. She's been in my circles frequently and over many years. And her own inner divinity, she said, has really transformed. And of course, she's saying my teachings are top-notch, cutting edge. And she has improved her business exponentially. Her business and career growth has gone through the ceiling. Also, she talks a lot about how her relationship with her partner and her capacity to serve her clients has really improved. And this is Sue, went through so much healing. Her own testimonial online talks about how she was waking up feeling like she didn't want to keep living. She was having family problems with her kids. Her health was in really bad shape, and she was having, you know, problems with alcohol, over drinking, and physical and emotional pain that she was going through. And after being in sacred mentorship, her health improved, her relationships dramatically, significantly improved. She developed her gifts to so much more. And I mean, she went from not wanting to be on the earth to waking up looking forward to every morning. Again, you can go to my YouTube channel, you can see all these. This Hillary, I mean, I love all my community, right? But I just love Hillary. She's in my circle. She sent me a Facebook message today She's like, your teachings are next level. They've completely changed me. They healed my depression. They healed my anxiety. She said she's a better teacher and leader to her own community. She is a healer and a professional in her own right, doing this work with her own community. She said she loves herself more. She has like no more doubt. She's working, with not only her community professionally, but she also improved her relationship status. Again, you can watch the videos, right? Her results, she calls them miraculous. This is Lauren. She's used all of these teachings, so much of the teachings that she's benefited from learning with me, from me in her own business. She opened up her own metaphysical practices and business in her own career. She's using this stuff professionally, and it has paid off for her financially and professionally. She feels much more empowered, and she has a whole new level and layer of teachings. She uses them in her life. And then here's Ruth. Before working with me, she was stressed out, working in corporate America, and she was hanging out in the spiritual closet. For years, she didn't even want to do a testimonial. She was in the spiritual closet. And then she started getting her gifts started coming online, and she was doing light language and developing her capacities as a healer and a reader and a teacher and a medium. And now she's out there and she does it and completely changed her life. That's Ruth. And this is Elena. She's in sacred mentorship, and she said it was the best investment she ever made, and it's the best investment you will ever make. Those are her words. Amazing, right? So these kinds of results are possible for you too. Absolutely possible for you. And it's available to you. And you are worthy of it, and you did deserve it. And you didn't come to this paradigm to play small. And hopefully, you didn't come to this webinar to play small and stay the same. It's possible and available for you. And when you're finally living in accordance with your highest potential, and living, doing what you came here for in an aligned way, you're going to feel so good, confident, and clear about what you're doing, why you're doing it. And you have the support team where you will be lovingly held and supported because everybody has stuff. Everybody needs someone to go to and shouldn't be running around like a chicken with their head cut off, wondering where the solutions are. When the solutions are within you, and yet they have to be brought, through you, from you, in a space where you're finally learning in an experiential way how to bring it about. Because when you change your energy and vibration, your energy shifts, your whole life will shift. Your whole reality will conform. This is true. This is physics. This is the way it works. It's spiritual truth and laws of physical, the laws of physics. So when you start aligning with your true divine agenda, your mission, your purpose, you start embodying more of who you are, your energy shifting and changing, your vibrational resonance is shifting and changing inside of a space where it's safe for you to work through the issues of the uncertainty, the not sure, the unclear, so that you become clear. Every relationship that you have with yourself, your source, your higher aspects, your divine team, your friends and loved ones, and the non physical, and people and experiences in your world is going to shift, significantly improve. All right. So here's where you have your next steps and solutions, right? This is Sacred Visionary, believe it or not. I don't know if I can. Oh, there we go. There's the link to it. I'm going to put it in the chat. You can take a look at this. This call is actually not about Sacred Visionary. Believe it or not. I only have 2 spots in there right now, and it fills up fast once I make it available, but I'll let you guys see that. So I'm scrolling through here real fast to get to the bottom where I was. You can take a look at Sacred Visionary and you can apply to have a chat with me if you're interested in working with me in Sacred Visionary. I will give you the application form too. Here's the 15-minute consult. I meant to have those links open. So now I got to scroll down again. I'm putting this in the chat. Right? If you want to apply for a 15-minute chat to chat with me about joining Sacred Visionary and working with me one-on-one. Sorry, big scrolls here. Please do. I just put those links in the chat. That is for people who really are serious, right? That 15-minute consult, it's not a reading or a healing. It's really about helping you to know if it's right for you and really what your next right and appropriate steps are for you. Help you to identify precisely what you need to do in your unique life journey to get more aligned, attuned, and embodied, and to awaken your potential and to achieve your highest fulfillment. So please do if you'd like to apply. And if for some reason I've switched all my technology, if for some reason you don't hear back from me within 24 hours, just reach out again, right? Because that happened once, I don't know, for whatever reason. But that's not even the offer today. I'm going to give you an easier offer. But if you're really ready and you know you're ready and you want to chat with me for 15 minutes, that is deep work with me inside of a sacred container in sacred visionary mentorship if you're serious and ready and you want to chat about what's possible and you've reviewed that sacred visionary page, you know, please feel free. But here's what I'm offering today because I want to make this a no-brainer for you. And you will never see an offer like this again. You will not. This offer is off the charts. 5-week Ascension support community, 5-week container, live coaching support and guidance with me, energy healing, meditations, activations, plus home study content each week. New teachings and offerings will be provided. Same topics we've been talking about today: aligning with your soul's true divine agenda and purpose and mission, true freedom and sovereignty, embodying your higher self aspects, elevating your vibration, expanding your consciousness, shifting your mindset, transforming your mental overload and fear, clearing and neutralizing the emotional stuff, liberating yourself from the old paradigm, awakening your dormant potential, unlocking your extrasensory abilities, activating more of your energy IQ, learning to manifest like a real master, utilizing your supernatural abilities, like all of this. Okay, you're not going to become an expert in 5 weeks, but you're going to make real fabulous progress, amazing progress, so much that you're going to want more. But you will be blown away at how much you progress in almost no time at all. This is the offer. We meet once a week for 5 weeks. It's a sacred container. We begin this Tuesday. This is for people who are ready. There's the link right here. This one you do not need a call for. It's a no-brainer. I'm going to click on this real fast. Oh, sorry. If you do it during the live call right now, you'll get this future crafting class. Sorry. That's the wrong link. Let me get you back to that. I got to scroll all the way down again. Here. Oops. There it is. Here's the link. Give me a second here. That's the link. So I'm just going to really quick show you this. Start the share again, which is here. All right, this is it. When I hang up this phone, chances are I'm going to make it 777. Because you stuck around with me, you're going to get the 597 rate if you do it right now. Before we go live on Tuesday, the price will increase to 997. It will never go back. 5-week Ascension support. So you get to sense what this is. You get the direct experience. If you register now, you'll also get the future crafting class. I'll tell you a little bit about what that is real quick. Where's that future crafting class? There it is. Give me a second here. Just links galore. I'm going to bring this up really fast. Oh, darn. That's not what I wanted to do. Share my screen again. Future crafting. So future crafting class is valued at $25.97, but I sell it for $5.97. You'll get it as a bonus. It's all about manifesting, learning how to manifest like a master. So this class you'll get as a bonus, and it is an awesome class. In addition to the 5-week Ascension support. Let me stop the share now for a moment. So that link, if you open that link on the registration, it does tell you, I can see some of the questions. I'm going to take some questions now. But it tells you we start on Tuesday. We go 5 weeks on Tuesday. It's 5 p.m. Eastern. On that page where you register, let's see, I can share my screen again so you can see it. Of course, all the calls are recorded and they go into a membership area so you can listen on replay. This is the Ascension support, right? That's what you'll get gifted. That's the future crafting class when you register live. There's the time check, time zones for the different areas, right? And everything's recorded. The class price will increase to $9.97 without notice. I'm keeping this class pretty small because I work intimately with people, so make sure you register now. Because when I hang up, this call will probably go to 777. It's worth that and more. All right, I have a couple other things. I want to answer some questions for you guys about this and things that have come up. And there's a couple other things I want to say, which you know some of this stuff, right? You have heard some of this before, but it'll add more to what you already know, I think. Just give me a second here because I'm going to share my screen again. All right, here we go. So here's why this is important. Here's why this is important. Never mind. You have to go all the way down. It doesn't pop you back to the page. I guess I could put it down up in there and pop it down, but I don't know how to do that. Couple other things. I'm going to take your questions. You can put them in the chat bar because I want to take your questions. I want you to understand the ripple effect. This is what's going to happen to you when you join our group. This is what's going to happen. You are going to change in a more positive and profound way. You are going to change in a more positive and profound way, and it's going to feel really good. You are going to be divinely empowered in ways that you never thought were possible. I know you are because it's what happens. You are going to have a kind of divine clarity and divine certainty that you never experienced before. And you're going to start experiencing kind of divine freedom because you're going to start realizing that the external world is optional. It has influence, but less and less and less. And that includes other people, their thoughts, beliefs, opinions, judgments, and false authorities, etc. You're going to become a better version of you. You're going to have more confidence than ever before, and you're going to have a happy and rewarding and fulfilling life like never before. Not overnight, but you're going to be developing the tools to make it so. And you will likely be making a positive and profound influence in the world with this. This is the ripple effect. This is what I want to say. The ripple effect is that it will ripple out into your world so positively and so profoundly. Other people and animals will benefit too. I want you to see my dog right here. Can you see her laying right here? You see her? Mama, you gonna say hello to everybody? Oh, she said no. But here's the thing. I bring my dog everywhere. That's not really the nicest response there. I bring my dog everywhere. People are like, oh my God, your dog is so calm and so relaxed and so mellow. She didn't really show that this moment. But it's because she's always in this energy. She's always in this energy. It's going to have a ripple effect. Your clients and students will also feel the benefits. Your relationships will improve, of course, with yourself and your own divine team. And your natural gifts, talents, and abilities will start to grow off the charts. Your finances will also likely improve because as you align with yourself and your source, it all improves, right? So now you have a choice, but I want to take your questions. This is the question we were at before. Where were you a year ago? What was going on in your life? What were you hoping for, wishing for, dreaming of, desiring? What did you want to achieve? What's different now? Do you want to let another year go by the same? This is especially for you, Patty. If you're still on, you want to let another year go by the same because this offer is too good to say no to. It's too good to say no to. Are you ready to make a change? So you have a choice. This is always, you always have the choice. You can go down, stay stuck where you are, where you've been, same stuff, behind a frequency fence, or you can make the change now. Your free will is what reigns supreme. You get the choice. But I can tell you that the biggest price you will ever pay, right? Staying same sucks. We're not meant to. You die with regrets. You repeat the karmic cycle, looping patterns. Okay, you don't even have to believe in reincarnation, but you do go through Groundhog Day, right? If you don't choose, nothing changes. You stay stuck. You don't get anywhere, right? But here's the reality. Here's where I want to get to. If you want to create a brighter future for yourself, change is required. The highest price, I put this on my Facebook book page because it's so true. The highest price of anything you will ever pay for, ever, 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 is the price of ignorance. I'm serious, not knowing. And this is stuff that is not taught in the mainstream. And it is not easy to get close to somebody like me. It's not easy because most people who have made this kind of transformation are not making offers like this where you can work directly with us. So, I'm telling you, the price of ignorance is the highest price of anything you will ever pay. And I know because there's lots of times I didn't take offers. And it's insane to not take right action, right? It's insane to not really take an option that comes up that's so transformative for you. You end up working against yourself and getting stuck, and you don't get the actions, the results that you want, and you stay in those discomfortable comfort zones, right? And you miss out on other things too because you're just like playing in the old paradigm. So you miss out on the richness and the deepness of the relationships and the loved ones and the magic moments that you can't get back because you're still operating in the old way, not enjoying life and staying stuck on the hamster wheel. All right, and you waste the precious gift of this life. This life is a gift. The cost of non-action is the highest price you will ever pay. And some of that is just the agony of realizing that you didn't live your life the way you were meant to. And the torture, it's like emotional torture to realize that you haven't been the greatness of who you could be. And that's why people have like reincarnate because they die with regrets and then they repeat the same stuff. Here's what I want to promise you, and then I'm going to look on the sidebar for any questions that are in there in the chat. But this is my promise. If you're in my sacred container, I will be with you and I will support you. And you will be so profoundly and magnificently and divinely and lovingly supported. You'll be amazed at how effortlessly and gracefully this can unfold for you and will unfold. It's my joy and honor and privilege to do this work. So, okay, questions. And I want to, before, if anyone is hopping off, I want to say thank you so much for joining me, being here. I hope you've enjoyed this. I do want to look at your questions, so I'm going to do my best to hop over and look at whatever might be there. Sakima, I will see you in there. I'm glad to see that you registered. And Angeli, you're welcome. Tara said has to run. Okay, I don't see questions. Are there any questions coming in? Nancy asked what day and time? Tuesdays, but of course they're always recorded. Tuesdays, and the time is on that link. I can put the link in again. I think that's it, I hope. Right there. Um, so you just check your time zone there, but it's 5 p.m. New York time. And typically they're like, an hour and a half about. Okay, I'm just looking for questions. Patty, if you're saying your budget can't handle that, you can't afford not to do it, especially based on the comments you made. I mean, I can't make you do it, but you can't afford not to do it, especially based on the comments you made. Okay, I do not have a two-play pan for this. This is like one of my lowest priced offerings other than the DNA activations. Um, but I do believe there's Klarna, which Klarna is like you pay them something, like a teeny bit, they pay me, and then they give you a no interest payment plan, no interest payment plan. It should be on there, the Klarna, Ronald, so you can do it that way. Okay. And I'm looking to see if there's any other questions. I think does anyone else have any questions? No, you guys are so quiet now. Okay. Got a few more moments. If you want to put any questions in there, I'll stick around for a few more moments. So we went long. This is very progressed information. I will tell you, it probably or might not be available, but when you register, you'll have access to it for sure. I don't know if I'm going to put it in a replay or not because it's advanced. I mean, this is like a class of its own. Could easily charge for. All right, I don't see any questions other than that, so I'm gonna go here, but I just put the link in again. Once I hang up, the rate does go up. So if you're thinking about it, please register before we say farewell. And I look forward to seeing you all there. And we start this Tuesday. So I'm sending you so much love and gratitude to all of you who joined. And please, please, if you did like this, please refer other people to the website because how you find out about this is through the website. Yeah. Can I please get Time Lori looking to join? Oh, there you go. It's right there. Just put the link in there again. So you can, there you go. He's asking for a few more moments because he doesn't want me to increase the rate. I hear you. It's all good, right? All right. Yeah, so I'm saying farewell now, but you have a few moments, Ronald, to join, right? Before I'm gonna go get some water and walk my dog real quick, and then I will circle back around to the rate there. So please, I hope to see you all there. And I want to say thank you again, recognize and honor and appreciate all of you for the work you're doing in the world. And yeah, if you really did like this, a great way is head over to the YouTube channel, subscribe there. You can always do Fair Energy Exchange by subscribing, staying in touch, and sharing that as well. And in the meantime, I'm going to sign off for now and end the recording since I don't see any other questions. And I'm just going to say thank you so, so much for being with me. Oh, she's ready for a walk. And for spending time and space and sharing your energy, your consciousness here today. And oh, I did see some Q&A in here. I didn't see these before. Okay. Paula, if you want to work on these things, how to clear, heal, and resolve this stuff that you're talking about, that's making you miserable, join the group. Join the group. We can work on it. She's asking, how do I clear, heal, and resolve these false sticking things related to my name and my energy, right? Let's do some healing for you. I think you're ready for the next level. Awesome, Karen. Okay, we will see you there too. All right, you guys, I'm sending you so much love. I'm wishing you every good thing. I'm going to sign off for now and end the recording. And farewell for now. Thanks again. Bye bye.